Hey everyone, once again, I am gate crashing the Iancast on a Friday because, hey Ian, last week was Tesla week.
Yeah,
And we had a
absolutely.
ton of people watching our stuff. So Ian's like, hey Paul, you want to come on again? And I've worn my Joe Rogan special shirt and hoodie today. Last week it was Tesla. This week it's my Joe Rogan hoodie. And Elon Musk was on Tesla. I have to get like maybe what Elon was smoking. And
Yeah,
that one,
he's got to go
one of
back
those
on
books.
there. I hope he does.
Yeah, well, that was a great conversation.
It was.
Talked a lot about things that were going on. But let's go to Tesla because we know that a lot of people. I put out this tweet and it said there's probably a lot of folks that top take Tesla on the last run.
Yeah,
So what,
yeah,
975?
yeah. Well, they might have thought it was going to break above $1,000, of course,
Right.
something like that. But yeah, a lot of people bought in at the top as usual. Um, but it's come down a little bit, and I don't even really sense that much panic. I don't know about you, but
Yeah, I mean, we were on Slack and I was like, I don't really get this. There's like a bunch of people, that think that this is going back to 300.
yeah, yeah, of course.
Yeah, I mean, and we don't see that. I don't see that. I don't see that at all.
Yeah, and like of course on CNBC where people are constantly bashing Tesla, they're saying things like Tesla doesn't make as many cars as Ford or GM, so the valuation's ridiculous. Yeah, so it's arguments like that, and something that I tweeted this morning, which I think everybody needs to hear, is that Tesla is not a car company like any other car company in the world. They're an AI and battery company that just happens to use that technology for cars. So it's a completely different market. The current car market is dying. AI and batteries are growing markets, and that's what Tesla has. And you can see it in their past growth and their growth projections. They're just way higher than anybody else.
I've got a friend and he's probably watching, and I know, and he's a big fan of ICE cars. And he's
Yeah,
constantly sending me this stuff. And he's like,
yeah,
what about Toyota? And I was like, listen, dude, no horse and buggy companies made it as car companies. No
right.
horse and buggy companies made it as car companies. And that's true for every innovation. And he says, well, it's still a car. And then to which I essentially give him my version of what you're like, no, it's a computer on wheels.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
The computer on wheels. Isn't it? A computer has a battery. Okay, there's like a charge, a charge, whatever, a laptop that's portable. It's a computer on wheels. It's powered by a very large battery,
yeah,
and it's
and
a
they
different thing than an internal combustion engine maker.
yeah, and they're really self-reliant where they make a lot of their own technology. So they don't rely on a bunch of other companies. So it's not like they're giving other companies business that are going to be pushed up with them. It's just all Tesla. Like they're all in one, and that's really great for their business too, because it shows that they have the technology capable of continuing to grow and evolve into whatever is next.
I don't know if you caught this interview, but Elon Musk was interviewed by the folks that run the space division of the military.
Okay.
And they were asking him, like, hey, so, what's the supply chain look like for space? And he said, well, it looks way worse than for cars. He's like,
Yeah.
but even for them as an EV maker, he said, they initially had to make everything.
Right. Exactly.
They had to
Because
make
nobody else was
everything.
doing it. Yeah, and they've
Right.
come all this way already, and they're
And
way ahead of everybody else.
right. So there's so many problems that the car companies, not just that they're behind, the truth is that they're never going to catch up. It just ain't happening. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
They have a philosophy, a mindset that is based on making a completely different thing. It's a completely different thing. The
Right.
economics are different. The business model is different. The making of it is different. The people it attracts to work there is different. It's just completely, utterly different. And it's
Yeah.
never going to change.
Right. And of course, another difference is the margins. So you get maybe 2% profit from, your typical Ford or Chevy or whatever. And with Tesla, once they scale up, it can be up to 30%. So way higher profit margins. Another reason they're not like any other car company on the planet. And those old car companies already have like billions and billions of dollars worth of infrastructure that they're going to have to totally revamp. That's super expensive. and they're already debt ridden. So I don't really see it happening anytime soon, if ever.
Yeah, I mean, and at this point, people can talk about Tesla killers and all this nonsense. The truth is that thus far, there is not a single real competitor to Tesla that
Yeah.
is anywhere near production. And even like Rivian and stuff like that. I mean, people say, well, what about Rivian? I was like, yeah, well, they've got to go through the curve that Tesla did and put
Yeah.
up factories to, to make these cars, put up gigafactories to build the batteries. And that's going to cost billions and billions of dollars to do.
Right. And yeah, people might buy Rivians, but I mean, when you have zero sales and you're going up against Tesla that has like 30 billion, it's it's an uphill road. It's an uphill battle.
It is definitely going to be an uphill road because they've got to walk through that curve of where first for them costs are rising, and Tesla's now at the top of that curve where costs now can start to go down
Yeah.
because the biggest cost is that battery, and it's a fixed cost largely of the gigafactory.
Yep. Yeah, they're making hundreds of thousands of cars a year, and they're
Yeah.
going to add on the Model Y this year, next year Cybertruck, and who knows what after that. But I'm sure they're going to come out with something. Plus, they have their whole solar business, self-driving cars. They've got all sorts of growth kind of propellers to get them ahead.
I have to tell you that people are thinking very little about this. However, robo taxis.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, if I can get out of dropping my kids off to their birthday parties and all of this, God, I would just hand it over.
Yeah. Yeah. I
I would
know.
just
Yeah, it's
hand it
time
over.
consuming. Yeah.
This is
Yeah, and
such a
Uber's
time,
going to
it's
get
such
on
a
that
time
too.
waste. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
So, I mean, that's another business that is largely at this point, only Kathy Wood at ARK Invest is really thinking far enough into the future, which is
Right.
why she was on CNBC and you told me, she's like, she put out her $7,000 price target for
Yeah.
Tesla and tell the folks what happened.
Yeah, they looked at her like she had three heads. It was insane to them. Yeah, and back before she had a 4,000 price target on Tesla back when the stock was like $200 or whatever, and people have been doubting her like constantly. And now the stock is up to over 700. It peaked over 900, and I don't see it really going down that much before the next leg up. It might flatten out a little bit with that kind of spike, but yeah, $4,000, $7,000 is definitely not out of the question, considering what they're doing already and what they've just accomplished within the past couple of years. They have the Model 3, which has like a 10% market share, just one car for all of electric vehicles. They've got self-driving car capabilities. They're really the only company that has that out on the road right now. And they've got their solar business. So it looks really great. People are still loving to doubt them. They're all confused about why the stock popped like that, but there are very good reasons for it.
Yeah, and we own Tesla and Profits Unlimited. We're in at about 350. And at some point in time when I put that in, many people say, Paul, you're already late, you missed it.
Yeah.
And we had some internal debate within our broader Banyan Hill company. And I think that we are still very much in the minority of being bullish on Tesla.
Yeah. I
And
would say
there's
so.
a substantial number of our larger company where we have like our subgroup called Bull Profits, but Banyan Hill is our mothership, if you will. I would say it's probably a 50-50 split. What do you think, Ian?
I think that's giving too much credit to Tesla bulls. I would say that it's way more than 50 that are negative, but who knows?
Yeah. But on the flip side, the folks that love Tesla and like it, man, we really love it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
like Ian and I have ordered a Cybertruck. I can't wait.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
cannot wait. My kids can't wait. So bottom line on Tesla is that, look, there was a spike driven for sure by margin calls, right? I mean,
Yeah. Yeah. Short. No, people who were short, the short interest has dropped a lot. It's still, I think, high teens %, which is still ridiculous for $100 billion company.
the last number I read was 18%, which is still
Yeah. Yeah.
what are they
Enormous.
thinking, Ian? What are
Yeah.
they thinking? I am waiting for the day when we go and Reddit is full of like, I went bankrupt on shorting Tesla. I
Yeah.
mean, that's got to be coming. Has got to.
Yeah, there are already some people who have done that. Yeah, for sure.
I don't know. I
It's
don't know.
crazy.
All right. Well, we're still bullish. We still like the company. I drive a Tesla. Ian's going to be soon driving a Tesla, and anyone that interacts with the car or drives it, just all the stuff that people think about the stock just becomes ridiculous. Just becomes
Right.
ridiculous.
Yep.
All right, let's go to Bitcoin because this is like our sort of our beat. We do Tesla, we do Bitcoin, we do pop, we do the stock market. Let's do Bitcoin. What's going on?
Yeah. So just in the general crypto market, a lot of altcoins are rallying, which is a very good sign. Ethereum, Litecoin, Bitcoin Cash, Dash, these other big ones are up like 20% in the past week. So that's very bullish for Bitcoin because when Bitcoin rallies and it's alone in doing so, that's usually not a great sign. That usually means that there's not market-wide support. Just like the stock market, if you only have a few stocks going up carrying the whole market, that's not a great sign. The crypto market's really similar in that way. So the fact that we're seeing these other coins go up, even more than Bitcoin, is a really great sign, and I think it leads to higher Bitcoin gains going forward, especially in a rally pre-halvening.
Yeah, I mean, it's been amazing. Bitcoin Cash in particular has just
Yeah,
been rocketing higher.
yeah, that's an illiquid coin kind of. So like when it jumps, it can go like 30% a day.
Yeah,
Yeah, and Dash too.
and there were a whole bunch of deflationary burns. Now we didn't keep track of them, but if I remember correctly, late last year, Ethereum burned
Yeah, they did.
like 10%. I can't remember the number.
Yeah, it was. I think it was around 10%. I know that some other ones have done that too.
Lumens, Stellar Lumens did the
Yeah,
same thing. They burnt like an even bigger number. It might have been 30%.
yeah,
And there was one more. It wasn't Bitcoin Cash. There was a
Ethereum Classic, I think.
maybe. I mean, that one's been a total rocket ship too.
Yeah, yeah,
They've just been. And I was telling Ian is that this reminds me a lot of 2009. I knew the bottom was in on the stock market because the junkiest stocks were
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
they were just flying high. And we're talking about 30% a day for day after day after day. It was insane. And
Right,
that told me that the liquidity was back. People were no longer fearful. The selling actually had kind of ended in October, November previous year. They were still made a new low from the smaller sellers that were still left. And
right.
then boom, once somebody started to put real money in, it was
Yeah, a
yeah,
volume spike across like
yeah.
everything. Like
And it
I
feels
look.
like that.
Yeah, so like I have a Binance app that I use to track a bunch of prices. And so I was looking at that this morning, and there were these random tiny coins that I've never heard of before that were up like 50%, over 100%. It was crazy. And that's been the case for like about a week now. And it was the same thing back in like March and April, back when we really started to come out of that bear market. And everything was just like these random coins were just like skyrocketing. So it's the same thing that I'm seeing now.
Yeah, I mean, we put the version of Bitcoin that you can buy in the stock market into Profits Unlimited. Like I think it's about 10 days ago. It's already up like 10% or so.
Yeah.
And on a broader basis, the next issue of Profits Unlimited, Ian, we're going to actually take that as a a stone, and we're going to go actually even deeper into fintech, which Bitcoin is the sort of the grandfather of it all. Without that,
Yeah,
really, none of this really begins.
exactly. Yep.
And I feel like one of the things that is a central element of about my America 2.0
Yeah. Yep.
thesis, which is like we're going to be in like even in 5 to 7 years, we're going to look back at 2020 and go, can you believe that? Like like I can already see obviously like robo taxis, they're already working on that. And I don't know if
Yeah.
you've seen some of the news on like flying taxis. There's like now like beta services that are starting.
Yeah, Uber's in on that too. They just talked about that yesterday when they reported their earnings. They were like well into that. It's crazy. It's
Right.
really
I
cool.
mean, so like these things are just coming right at us. And I feel like one of the places that's really lagged behind because the companies are involved in it are so backward looking. These banks and insurance companies, my God, they are just a pain to
Yeah,
deal with. Just a
yeah.
pain.
Just like, yeah, if you want to send money from one bank to another, you got to wait like a week. Even transferring to like other accounts takes a long time. Like if you wanted
Well,
to put money into Coinbase with your bank account, it takes a week.
or even, like your paycheck, once it goes in, you have to wait 3 days to get your money. What is
Yeah,
that?
yeah, I
What is
know.
that? What is
Yep.
that? I mean, or you buying a house where you have to like sign. There's still folks. I mean, I went to, I bought a house like fairly recently, like a year ago, and the dude still wanted me to like sign papers,
Yeah,
and I was like, can we do like this electronically? Anyway, my,
yeah,
my point is like, we are on the cusp of an entire new upgrade. It's kind of like going from internal combustion engines to a Tesla, which
yeah,
is that a Tesla is cleaner, it doesn't have an exhaust pipe, it's electric. And if you want to get in on America 2.0, and this is a chain of stocks, a chain of businesses that are remaking America. I mean, and all remakings happen through the industrial process. We have to make it. So that's, what we call the fourth industrial revolution. We've been all in on it really for 4 years now with Internet of Things and others. And if you're interested in our Profits Unlimited America 2.0 stocks, just click on the strong hands above there, and that's going to take you to a page. I'll tell you how to subscribe to Profits Unlimited. It goes most times for about $50 or so pretty cheap. It's really a rounding error in terms of what it might cost per day. And we do about one stock per month, and we cover cryptocurrencies to the extent we can get you into the stock market. So again, click on those strong hands above, get into Profits Unlimited America 2.0. Let's finish out Bitcoin. I mean, I feel like
yeah.
we're pretty close to it making new highs.
Yeah, I think it's definitely going to be around there before the halving. I think it's definitely going to hit around 20,000, maybe even go over it, which would be great. And our prediction for this year is 50,000. So that's not near the end of it. What we're seeing.
Right. And for all the folks like Paul, and we got some push back when we first put these predictions out, be
Yeah,
like, there's no way, because when we did it, Bitcoin was 7,500, something in that range, maybe even
yeah, if that.
6,500.
Yeah,
So 50,000 seemed like a bridge too far. However, I'm totally on board with that because come May, when the number of Bitcoin that can be mined goes from 12 and a half to 6.25, and demand stays the same or
yeah,
probably more likely rises. I mean, that's what my bet. It
yeah,
rises because into any scarcity, any price rise, as we saw with Tesla, and Ian made this point to me, there's always like more demand at higher prices.
yeah. I think at the last halving, Bitcoin was like a few $100s. So between halvings, we've gone from that and it spiked at 20,000. So just add two zeros onto the end, basically. And that's
Yeah,
what
so
it'll
I
be
mean,
next.
and some of this will happen just like Tesla, where there are a lot of people that might have even bought the bottom at 180, but then many of them, I got a lot of readers that sold at 250,
Yeah,
thinking that it was going to go back down again. And the truth is that no one really can tell you exactly what the price, sort of the pattern, like what the actual like sort of path is going to be. You got to be
right.
in it to win. You got to be in it to win. Or you're not going to make the money. And that's true for Tesla. We believe that's true for Bitcoin because literally we could wake up tomorrow and Ian and I could be texting each other like, oh, look at that.
Yeah. Yeah. And with Tesla, a lot of people, like I put a picture of this up on Twitter too, of like the Robinhood number of buyers and sellers, like people who own Tesla. And once it hit like $450 a share, like everybody sold. And then when it hit 550, everybody started to buy back in. So that's the whole demand at higher prices thing. It happened to Tesla, and it's going to happen to Bitcoin too, for sure. That's why nobody was buying it when it was 200, but you had a ton of people buying it at 15,000 up to 20.
Yeah, and just so you know, I mean, Ian also put up on his account. You can follow both of us on Twitter. I'm at Mampilly Guru, and Ian, what is your hashtag? What's
It's
your
Ian
handle?
Dyer Guru.
Ian Dyer Guru. Um, my personal view of how I've modeled Bitcoin is that into the halvening in May, Bitcoin makes a new high, probably pops a little bit higher. However, we've
Yeah,
studied these things, and there's a sell-off posted, which will
yeah,
probably test the old high at 2025, something in that range. And then comes the real big
right.
move. Yeah, the big
Yep.
move.
A couple
Uh,
months later. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I mean, and then it unfolds over a period of time. So we're in on Tesla, just like we're in on Bitcoin. And let's now move to the other thing we cover. Like, there's like a lot going
Yeah.
on in the cannabis space too. Let's go on with something. There's been like you saw in our channel, there was like there's a lot of restructuring and sort of I'll call it
Yeah.
rationalizing that's going on.
Yeah. So, like, anytime there's a huge new industry, everyone wants to get in. Everyone's trying to do as much as possible in as short as possible a time. The stocks go like parabolic. And then reality sets in and the stocks go down. The companies have to sort of restructure because they realize they tried to do too much too fast. So this one company, Aurora, is laying off some of their workers. One of their executives dropped out, and they've had some issues with some of their plants, their growing plants. So it's not anything really out of the norm. They're cutting costs because they realize they try to do too much. That's the main point. It's growing pains for any kind of new industry, and we haven't seen something that's completely new in food or agriculture or anything in like forever. So this is a totally new thing for that space, and it's going through those growing pains right now.
Yeah, I mean the gold rush moment is over. The gold rush
Right.
moment is over, and now people are doing a lot of sensible things that would make you even more optimistic from a company by company perspective. You look, they are restructuring their operations, making themselves more efficient, looking to save money. However, the big opportunity, Ian, which is really about okay, that's on the supply side, but
Yeah.
on the other side, things are only getting better on the demand side.
Right. Yeah, I don't know if you saw the final number for January sales in Illinois, but it was $40 million.
Wow.
So huge. Yeah, for 1 month, for its
For
first
one
month ever.
state, for one state.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I mean, and we, for sure, I feel pretty good that over the next couple of years, we'll see the remainder of the states introduce some form of legislation, making it legal in some form. And then over the next 3 years or so, federal legislation will just come and sort of, knit it all together.
Yep.
However, by then, these will, I believe, will all be much higher.
Yeah, for sure. It was a capitulation moment.
Right.
Kind of earlier this year, like late last year, was the bottom, I think, for pot stocks in general. I mean, you're gonna have individual ones that go lower, but as a whole, I think it's a really good time to buy in. And my prediction, I still hold to that, is MJ is gonna go up 100% this year.
Right, 100%. And off a bottom that has been such a sharp decline, that's really completely something that you can go look at other bottoms, and that kind of move is completely possible. And
Yep.
I told you that I'm going to actually be adding to my Extreme Fortune Service cannabis stocks that I believe has bottomed out. And, we talk about this. Now, folks on the outside, they take like what Wall Street says very seriously. We kind of tend to use what Wall Street says as a contrarian indicator.
Right. Yeah. Like exactly. Perfect example is Tesla, and now they're downgrading all these pot stocks. For that company, Aurora, there was like a $1 price target or something put on it. I think I saw a $0 one put on one of them too. So like essentially, they were saying the company's going to go bankrupt, even though they have a steady business that's growing. The sales of all these companies have like at least doubled. Some are up like 300-400% in the past year or 2 years. So the business is there. It's just that they need to structure their business right and not spend as much money. Try to focus on cutting costs and things like that, like you have with any other new industry.
Yeah. And one reason why I'm picking this stock is because I've actually noticed, Ian, that pretty close near the bottom, you get the most ridiculous nonsense out of Wall Street.
Yeah,
The
exactly.
stupid price target cuts, the most dumb things said that just make no sense in any way, shape, or form. That's when you know the bottom's in.
Yeah, I think the same thing happened with Uber when they said that Uber was not going to survive or something like that because they don't make a profit yet. Even though they're growing at like 40% a year. They're all over the world. They have like a virtual monopoly on ride sharing in most countries. So I mean,
I
yeah,
don't
you
know.
hear some pretty dumb stuff during the panic times.
I think you and I, we live on a different planet than these people.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
yeah, because to you and me, that seems really obvious, like Tesla, Uber,
yeah,
Bitcoin. Yeah, it just seems really obvious. And then, we shut the Iancast down and go join the real world. And then you get like this flood of insane opinions and ridiculousness thrown at you.
yeah, exactly. It's
Um,
crazy.
all right, let's bring this into a close and let's talk about the stock market. We've been having some chat on in our team about the market, and I've been telling you that I was like, hey, because of what happened 2018 and most of 2019, I'm like, don't get too negative on the market
Right.
because I feel like there's so much cash that's actually sitting there that needs to be in that's still out.
Oh yeah. Yeah, a bunch of people are sitting on cash and because bonds, like interest rates are negative in some part of the world. That was like the secondary thing to stocks is what people put in is bonds. And there's like no value there. You get like a couple percent max if you're lucky. So yeah, they're putting it into stocks and there's still a lot of cash, like you said, and it's going to result in a huge inflow of cash into the stock market because there's really nothing else to do. There's huge growth. All the trends that we talk about with automation, electric vehicles, things like that. The whole fourth industrial revolution is fueling growth, not just here, but pretty much all over the world. And there's so many opportunities that people are missing. And towards the time where we start to see that growth, people are going to be putting crazy amounts of money into the stock market and pushing the stocks up.
Also, you saw that email that went around that said, like, the knock on your generation. Oh, you guys have no,
Yeah,
you're gonna like live in your basement forever, which is that the average millennial now has 100 grand saved up.
yeah, I know.
I,
Yeah, and we're buying houses. Gen Z is in great
yeah, but
shape.
some of that money is also going to go into the stock market, Ian.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, and Bitcoin,
Yeah, and Bitcoin.
cryptos.
And I mean, my tweet, I had this tweet out yesterday because talking about like, well, why does like Tesla today have like $165 billion valuation, and why is it now worth more than GM, Ford, Volkswagen, Mercedes combined?
Yeah,
So you add them all, Tesla's worth more. And to me, it's like really obvious. It's like those companies are all, what I call the old world. I don't know, second industrial revolution. There's some mix of the second and third.
yeah,
And Tesla is the fourth industrial revolution. And for me, America 2.0, American design, is us going back to a country that makes things that's like beautiful, works great, and has like the one thing that's like magic about America where, it's just cool.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, super innovative.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to get in on, we think to 2020, yeah, the stock markets is going up. However, America 2.0 stocks, fourth industrial revolution stocks, they're going to go up way more because the stock market still has like ExxonMobil in it.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, stuff like that. All these old car companies too.
Right.
This like makes up a majority of the transportation sector,
And
which
energy
like trains
sector.
and stuff. All of that's going to get disrupted,
Yeah,
which we've talked
it's,
about.
it's like buying a bucket with like a big giant hole at the bottom, and
Yeah,
it's flowing into that's the old world stocks, and and then that stock market value and capitalization is really just flowing into stocks like Tesla and many others across really the entire economy. That they're the ones innovating, they're the ones that are really setting the sort of the platform for huge, massive growth in the future.
yep, exactly.
Yeah. All right, Ian, we've done Tesla, Bitcoin, cannabis, the market. I'm still positive about the market overall, but I'm way more positive of America 2.0 stocks. And one more time, I tell you, don't miss out, because I don't know, Ian, there's no place other than Ark Invest. There's no
Yeah,
one other than us telling the story.
I know. Yeah, it's crazy. I haven't seen anyone.
Right. Ark Invest is just like us. I mean, they do, they're a little bit more technical in the way they talk about it. We're a little bit more down to earth in the way we talk about it. However, our views are the same. Our views are the
Yeah,
same. Very
they have some great information for sure. But not many people are talking about it, but people are buying it because otherwise Tesla wouldn't be spiking to $950.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, we're still bullish on Tesla. It will be volatile. That's what I tweeted yesterday. It will be volatile, but you want to be in the stocks of the new. The old is like buying into, at best, a leaky bucket. At worst, a bucket where the hole's actually fallen out, and that value is just flowing out. So we are going to try to actually make the Iancast into a live stream. We're going to get a date together. And so if you want to get in on it, where we do this live stream, make sure you join our free e-letter, Bold Profits Daily, which there'll be a link for in the description. Just put your email in, and then you'll be notified when we get everything set up. Ian and I have to work a few kinks out to be able to live stream. And then we're looking forward to doing this live, right, Ian?
Yeah, it's going to be awesome for sure. Can't wait.
All right. Well, happy Friday. Happy weekend from me.
Yeah. Same here, everybody. Happy Friday. Have a great weekend. Enjoy.
Bye.
See ya.